What's up, dudes? Max here. Wanted to give you guys a really quick impression and thoughts and tiny breakdown of the little bit of Dragon Ball FighterZ that we saw from Bandai Namco. I'll just cover a few basic things in case you guys missed out on the previous video, which was a minor leak of information. Dragon Ball FighterZ is officially being made by Arc System Works and looks very similar to the Guilty Gear Xrd series. However, it is not the exact same because this game is running on Unreal Engine 4 and Unreal Engine 3 is what powered the Guilty Gear Xrd games, but it does make sense that they just carried over a lot of their assets and tech because there's a good chance a lot of that would work here, and it looks pretty friggin' awesome. A lot of the same animation styles of Guilty Gear also carry over, which emulate anime in as many ways as possible, down to the shading, down to the animation frames and influence, but there's a very high chance that the game will run at a natural 60 frame per second speed that affects gameplay, so I wouldn't be too worried there, even though a lot of the cutscene cinematics will look like they run at a cinematic frame rate, which is probably around 20 to 24 frames a second. It's also 2.5D, so this is a lot different than a lot of previous Dragon Ball fighting games. There is no 3D plane of environment. The characters fight on a 2D surface, but the character models are indeed 3D. The set release date for the game is 2018, however, there was an announcement on Twitter that there will be a beta for this game that is going to be coming before the end of summer. So even if you don't have the chance to be at E3 or a trade show where the game is going to be playable, which it will be at the E3 show floor, which I'll have the wonderful opportunity to play, you will actually get a chance to play it in a beta that's going to be happening in the next couple months or so, which is absolutely awesome. It's extremely refreshing to see that these guys are going to be taking the online play of these games seriously, especially considering the fact that the online play for a lot of previous fighting games from the Xrd series as well as Arc System Works have gotten better over time, and they're really damn good in the latest game, which is Guilty Gear Revelator 2. But outside all of the characters and references and everything that you can plainly see that's in the trailer, let's see if we can pinpoint some crazy gameplay things that are happening. All the characters rushing towards each other at the beginning of the game could be a nod at the new cinematic elements that are being introduced into Dragon Ball FighterZ. To me, this very much resembles another fighting game that has an element that many fans love because it includes a lot of character interaction, which is the clashing in Injustice 2, where the two characters come and smack up against each other. It'd be great if the characters said stuff to each other in a similar fashion in this game, but it's kind of hard to tell if they're just introduction animations for the character, or there is a kind of themed clash system that is somehow tied to a mechanic. The game will also feature what appears to be destructible environments. At one point that goes by very fast, you see Frieza shooting laser blasts at Goku that he starts deflecting with his hands, and then they go into the background and start exploding parts of the background. This is a fantastic element that I hope is incorporated into a whole bunch of stages, and I love the fact that characters will most likely be able to parry or deflect small projectiles. There's also one part where Frieza is engaging an air combo, and then goes into what appears to be something very similar to the upward dust mechanic in Guilty Gear Xrd, where the camera goes down and behind your character, and then you pursue them into the sky for an air combo. There's also an exchange of blows moment between Vegeta and Goku, which could be something that very much resembles button mash moments in a lot of previous Dragon Ball fighting games, so I wouldn't be surprised if they integrate this in some other way, but at the same time, it doesn't look like each character is taking damage, it just looks really cinematic. We then see a bunch of references to classic character special moves and a huge fireball from Frieza that causes a giant explosion from a wide angle of the planet. I love this ridiculous cinematic stuff, so I just can't wait to see what they do with the rest of the characters. The next part is a big hint at the 3 versus 3 mechanics, and I was presuming that the game was going to have tag-like mechanics, but we weren't sure if it's going to be a 3 versus 3 fighting game or a 3 versus 3 tag team fighting game. But it appears to be tag team as multiple characters are represented on screen at once. And in a couple of these situations, you actually see 3 characters teaming up against 1, and they're all doing different moves, which is really interesting considering how those characters are going to be controlled and what you can do with them. I only hope they integrate a whole bunch of different stuff you can do with the tag mechanics. There's no direct reference to assists as of right now if the game does have them, but at the same time, I really am excited to see what Arc System Works can do with tag-based mechanics, because to me, it's some of the hypest, most exciting stuff in a lot of fighting games. Later in the trailer, we see characters that were earlier in the trailer taking forms of their way more powerful selves, so I'm curious if they're going to integrate this into gameplay directly, where you maybe don't have to pick a different kind of character like Golden Frieza versus, the first form of Frieza. Maybe you can actually change to that version maybe with some use of meter or a pre-existing condition or anything like that. It'd be pretty damn awesome if you can take a character and actually level them up multiple levels in one match. So I don't know, I just think that there's a really big opportunity for this, and I'm curious to see how Arc System is going to expand upon it. So there you have it. There's a lot more we can talk about in regards to characters, like I said earlier, but the things that have me the most excited about this is the fact that this game looks ridiculously exciting to play. I love fighting games that absolutely envelop themselves in excitement and hype and making you feel pumped up and powerful as a player. And this game is doing exactly that. There was a ton of really popular anime that Bandai Namco and Arc System could have gone to for a fighting style game, but I really feel that Dragon Ball fits it the best just because of how ridiculously exciting and over the top it can be. Either way, let me know what you guys think about the gameplay for Dragon Ball FighterZ in the comments below. Like I said before also, I will be at E3 coming up in the next few days, and this game is indeed playable, and I'm going to get as much time with it as possible. I'll be back with more videos, updates, and talking about the mechanics and how the game plays and how similar it is to previous Guilty Gear games as much as possible very soon. If you guys want to check that out, I'd appreciate a subscription, but until then, thank you dudes a ton for watching. My name is Max, and I'll see you next time.